What's going on YouTube? So the family 3-row crossover segment is extremely competitive, but two products that really made waves when they broke onto the scene were the Kia Telluride and the Hyundai Palisade, and both of them have just entered their second generation.
That's right, and these are two of the most competitive products in the segment, and we have them side by side today to see where you should put your hard-earned money. So let's dive in.
Despite hailing from the same corporate parent company, there are many more differences than there are similarities, especially at the equivalently priced and value-packed trim levels that we're looking at today. If you're looking to buy either one, make sure to check out carconfections.com/newcarquotes to get the best price and access to invoice pricing information. Starting with the exteriors, Hyundai and Kia continue to put out bold and eye-catching designs in segments that tend to be kind of bland. Honestly, it's impossible to tell that these two are related by looking at the front fascias, where the Palisade and Telluride have two different identities. The Palisade we have uses lots of silver accents around its barred grille, looking more luxurious than the X-Line Telluride, which is almost fully blacked out and emphasizes ruggedness. These two models are both priced right at $50,000. But the Palisade prioritizes the interior over the outside design, as shown by its 18-inch wheels versus the much larger 21-inch wheels on the Telluride. We don't score the appearance of vehicles, but which do you prefer? Be sure to let us know in the comments below. What we do score are all the various features and differences, so let's get into those. Starting with the headlights, both models feature projector full LED arrangements, each with new lighting signatures this year. While the Palisade also has an integrated light bar, only the Telluride has the more useful feature of LED fog lamps. The platform similarities show themselves the most at the sides, where they are the same length, with a small growth spurt for the newest generations. Same length doesn't guarantee the same space though. We'll approach that issue later on in this comparison. Outback, no, we did not swap these two for Range Rovers. Despite their design similarities with that luxury mark, there are also similarities between the features. Each has a hidden wiper, spoiler, and full LED rear lighting with slim and luxurious designs. Neither have exposed exhaust outlets anymore, and the Palisade uses a large black accent across the back of the tailgate. For towing, these models can haul an equivalent 5,000 pounds. Headed to the mirrors, both have heating, blind spot monitoring, and power folding. But the Palisade one-ups the Telluride with auto-dimming abilities at this price. By the way, feel free to keep your own score along the way based on what's most important to you. Safety is a foremost priority for these SUVs, and sure enough, they both have all the standard active safety features and more. That more is the advanced highway drive assist systems, which make long road trips a breeze. That concludes the outside, so let's keep moving to the impressive interiors. But first,
if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We started young, and since then we've reviewed over 2,000 cars at every price point.
No matter what you're looking for, from our long-term vehicle videos to our side-by-side comparisons, we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family.
Let's learn a lot and have some fun with all the latest cars. Approaching both, they have smart entry and remote start on the fob, but only the Palisade has digital key as equipped. One more stop before getting inside, as the Telluride now has flush door handles that pop out on approach for the new generation. Opening up the doors, it's once again difficult to link these two as family members in any way, but there are some small shared elements, as you'll see throughout this tour. When it comes to the seats, these models both feature full leatherette seats as equipped. And we have to point out that both feel very realistic and should be durable. The highest-end Palisades can also get Nappa leather, while all Tellurides will come with this faux leather for 2027. Functionality-wise, they share 8 ways of adjustment plus 4-way lumbar, heating, and ventilation, but only the Hyundai has memory settings. Hopping inside, we can talk about the broad item of cabin quality, which will divide into solidity and material selection. Both models exhibit excellent build quality and fit and finish, as expected from the brand's top SUVs. And while not the highest trims, materials are quite impressive as well, where both are using lots of leatherette, soft touch materials, and unique trims to create a luxurious environment. However, it's the Hyundai that even includes ambient lighting at this price, giving it the point. After startup, you'll be greeted by 12.3-inch screens, but only the Palisades is fully reconfigurable with the blind spot camera system for $50,000. The steering wheels are equivalent, as they're leather-wrapped, heated, and manually adjustable, though the Kia's wheel suffers from asymmetry if that bothers you. Rain-sensing wipers are also reserved for the very top trims on each. But the next major subject to evaluate is interior storage, broken into the subcategories of console and extra cubbies throughout. First, checking out the center consoles, the Palisade fits a full dozen donuts, while the Telluride packs in an impressive 19 donuts. Moving forward though, the Palisade has the advantage, as it has even more pass-through storage space thanks to the console's design. Both of them have a passenger storage shelf as well, and at least one wireless phone charging pad. But all 2027 Tellurides throw in an extra charger for the passenger as well. To attain the additional storage space, both use electronic shifters mounted on the steering column. In reverse, the Palisade is once again advantaged with a 360-degree camera and 3D spin ability, while both have parking sensors. For the 3-zone climate systems, both offer physical controls for the main temperature adjustments, but the other settings are in small touchscreens. They also have physical volume controls, so let's test out their audio systems. The audio quality is identical, with the same 8 speakers. Branded sound systems are on the top trims. Now to the screens, where they share a 12.3-inch display running the same infotainment system, which also has wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and integrated navigation. Performance on both is smooth and simple, and phone pairing is some of the quickest and most reliable in the auto industry. Up top, both include auto-dimming rear-view mirrors, though the Palisade adds HomeLink universal remotes. And finally, they have standard-sized sunroofs. Now let's see if there are any packaging differences in the back seats and cargo areas. Starting with the second row seat space, they are nearly identical on paper, which also plays out when we measure our real-world knee room as well. Features are plentiful, but the Palisade continues with a luxury advantage. While both have climate vents, USB ports, sunshades, and captain's chairs, it's the Hyundai that also includes seat ventilation and a rear console drawer for extra space. Entering the third row, both sets of seats slide forward easily without tilting the seat back, which means many child seats would not have to be removed. Once back there, space figures in all configurations continue to be within a 5% margin, meaning that both third rows are comfy. Additionally, they will both have reclining seats, vents, cup holders, and USB ports. While the top trims can get some extra luxury goodies, these mainstream models will still be comfortable and spacious. Now to the cargo spaces. Both have hands-free power tailgates as equipped. When it comes to space, it's the Telluride that has the advantage, albeit not a huge one. It has about 3 additional cubic feet of space at each of the 3 seating configurations, which is greater than a 5% difference behind the third row and second row. As equipped, both models have a manual folding third row, outlets, and spare tires under the load floors. But that's it for the interiors. So now let's take them out on the road where there are even more changes to discuss. Both the Telluride and Palisade have had some powertrain tweaks for their newest generations, but more so for the Telly. While the Hyundai has a different V6 and a new hybrid powertrain, the Kia trades in its V6 for a new turbocharged 4-cylinder. We'll talk more about the shared hybrid system in a later comparison, but in these gas models, the Palisade has more horsepower, while the Telluride has more torque. Once the rubber hits the road though, it'll be the Telluride that is quicker in 0 to 60 testing, thanks to the extra low-end torque. Alrighty, that is 60 miles per hour. So of course, let's jump right into, one of the more controversial things about this all-new 2027 Kia Telluride. You heard us talk about it a bit at the spec dump, but the previous generation had a V6, and now for this new generation, they have switched to a turbocharged 4-cylinder engine as the standard engine. So this is a 2.5 liter turbo 4. It's making 274 horsepower and 311 pound-feet of torque. Alright, there's an acceleration to 60 miles per hour with the Palisade. This, of course, is the V6 Palisade, and, as you could probably hear as we accelerated there, it's a nice, smooth powertrain. So let's hit those power specs. It's a 3.5 liter V6 with 287 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. As compared to the competition, those are fine numbers. It kind of hits in the heart of your expectation for a 3-row SUV.
Yeah, and as far as how it compares to some of its main competition, like the Telluride, it is going to have a little bit more horsepower, but quite a bit less torque.
However, the accelerations will also reveal the Palisade's more refined sound and smoothness from its V6 engine. As far as the transmissions are concerned, both have 8-speed automatics and all-wheel drive systems as equipped. Performance is smooth in each, and off-road trims are available if you need even more capability.
For those of you that really love that V6 refinement, I will say you kind of miss out on that experience here. The Hyundai Palisade kept a V6 in its all-new generation. That's not going to be the case here for the Telluride, so I will say that some of the noise entering into the cabin is definitely not as refined.
Let's talk about the other aspect of the powertrain, the transmission, of course. This has got an 8-speed automatic transmission. We have to say, over this past week of owning this vehicle, really a smooth transmission. It does an excellent job of just blending into the background. You never really feel like you're waiting on it to shift or anything like that. Now, as far as the transmission is concerned, we've got an 8-speed automatic. It is a nice, buttery smooth transmission that I think behaves very well in everyday driving. Now for ride quality and handling. Which one will be the one to excel? Well, they both excel, but in slightly different ways. I'll get this out of the way first. Both are very comfortable, but the Palisade is outrageously comfortable, especially on this SEL Premium with those small 18-inch wheels you saw earlier. In comparison, the Telluride with 21 still rides nicely, but you will feel more impacts enter the cabin when you hit a larger pothole or something like that.
And now that we're just kind of cruising down the highway portion, I want to take a second to discuss ride quality. And really, ride quality is an area where this Palisade just absolutely excels. It always has great ride quality, and especially here on the SEL Premium, where you have the smaller wheels on the outside, this thing absolutely rides like a dream. You hit a bump in the road and you're just like, what bump? It feels extremely, extremely comfortable. These seats are fantastic as well. I'd have to give this as one of the very best ride qualities in the entire segment, if not the best. That is for sure. We've been on all types of roads, and overall, the ride quality of this model is very good. Now, I will say very good because it's not exactly as good as some of the competition. Some of the other rivals, such as the Honda Pilot, the Hyundai Palisade, I do feel like give you better ride quality overall than this model, but this is far from uncomfortable, that's for sure. It's definitely very good ride quality. The seats are comfy.
One of the surprising elements we found out about the new Telly is that the handling is quite good. They firm the suspension a bit more than the Palisade, meaning that body roll is nicely controlled when going around corners. I think this demonstrates one of the things that was kind of unexpected for us about this new Telluride, and that is that it has a little bit of athleticism, dare I say. So obviously this is a big family three-row, right? So it's not a sports car or anything like that, but also when you go around corners pretty quickly, it has really good body control. You don't have a lot of body roll. The steering also has a little bit of firmness, and it's very responsive as soon as you go off center, especially when you go into the sport mode. Here at Car Confections, something we like to do is take sound level readings for all the models we test so that we can compare them. Our Kentucky measurements reveal the two models have almost identical decibel readings, and more expensive models will be even quieter.
57.5 seems to be the number that we have settled in at. 57.9 decibels is what we are looking at.
Finally, when it comes to fuel economy, you might be surprised to see that the V6 and turbo 4 cylinders are rated to get exactly the same fuel economy. Definitely spend the extra for the hybrid system if you're interested in getting more than 20 mpg combined, as well as more power. In our reviews and comparisons, we're also adding in reliability and resale information to give you a better picture of the overall value beyond just the original MSRP. Beginning with reliability, we developed the Combined Reliability Index, which takes into account several studies from trustworthy sources and combines them in a way that gives you a more realistic picture. For the past few years, Kia has consistently outperformed its corporate sibling here, ranking 6 slots above the industry average, awarding it plus 1.2 points. Meanwhile, Hyundai is 2 slots below the industry average, reducing its score by 0.4 points. However, they do share the same industry-leading 10-year powertrain warranty, and neither of them include complimentary maintenance for 2026. We also put Mason's economics degree to work to develop a detailed predicted resale value tool. After 5 years and 60,000 miles, the opposite is true here, with Hyundai outperforming Kia. Its expected resale value is 55.4% of MSRP after 5 years, while Kia comes in at 49.0%. That's plus 1.2 points for the Palisade. Now let's break down the cost of these two and evaluate how much value each model is delivering. Hyundai and Kia have consistently offered value-packed models for years, and that continues for the newest generations. The trims we have today are middle-of-the-pack trims that are also some of the best sellers: Telluride EX X-Line and Palisade SEL Premium. They are only $65 apart, both coming in under $50,000 including destination. We want to emphasize that if money, reliability, or resale value matter less to you personally, feel free to disregard these points. So there you have it, the objective winner. Do you agree? Here are a couple things to consider when picking each one for you personally, and then we'll tell you which one we would put in each of our driveways. I'll start with the Palisade. You might look at that if you're looking for V6 refinement, and also gets the same fuel economy as that Turbo 4 in the Telluride. And there's also some pretty pronounced feature advantages, especially when we're talking about the interior.
Yeah. Now, on the flip side, you should consider the Telluride if you want the more torque-rich engine with the turbo 4-cylinder. It also has a couple lighting advantages, such as the fog lights on the outside. And really, I think design is going to be a big component of that. The Telluride looks like a fully loaded model on the outside, whereas the Palisade is going to be more on the basic end. Now, we want to know which one you would prefer down below. And if you're looking at specific advantages one has over the other, we'd encourage you to go to carconfections.com/vehicle rankings. We've looked at not just the Telluride and Palisade, but all of their competition and ranked them in individual categories that matter most to this type of buyer. Things like the third row, cargo area, value and features in the front of the cabin, powertrain experience, and all of that is detailed for you on our website, and you can sort and see the best options in each of those categories depending on what is most important to you, so you can really make an informed buying decision. So we definitely recommend checking that out. Now, which would we put in our driveways?
For me, at the $50,000 price point, it's definitely got to be the Telluride. I think the Palisade just looks a little too basic, especially on the outside with that design for $50,000. Now, if we expand the price point higher, maybe it's more of a toss-up.
Yeah, there are definitely distinct advantages and pros and cons to each of them. I definitely like the Palisade's V6, but like Drew said, I think I couldn't do the design for the $50,000 model. And guys, that's going to be where we kind of leave off on this. If you're looking to buy a Palisade, Telluride, or any vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/new car quotes as well. The reason you should do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool to use while dealership negotiating. If you'd like to take advantage of that, as well as things like our monthly payment tool, you can find a link to that down below in our video description, as well as a pinned comment at the top of this video. Thanks so much for tuning in. Be sure to once again let us know which one you'd prefer down below in the comments, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.